Well, I'm literally just playing about an hour blitz chess, quite chilled out. So 3 minute, I think we'll play. So you can watch me. I mean, my rating's gone hurtling down because if you've watched any of my recent streams, oh, look at that. Look at that. The fear on Amir Kabar's face when he saw the GingerGM. Very stupid of him. You really shouldn't show that much fear. It's not good for you. Yeah, we need to have a match with John, don't we? Someone's asking for... Okay, well, let's play the Jobava London. Come on. For still, this is for you, my friend. We're going to play the Jobava London. I know loads of you love the Jobava London. And the Jobava London is Bishop F4. This is the Jobava London. This is stage 1. And now you adapt to what your opponent plays. Against G6, I go for a super aggressive idea of H4, H5. And let's give that a rock and roll. I hear that Danny Wrench will stare into your bedroom at 3 AM if you play on Lichess. They're very flexible. They're very nice, the guys at chess.com, and they're great, been great. Great sort of working with them for so long. Professional, hard-working, nice guys. So I actually met Danny once at the Isle of Man competition, which chess.com were. Can we go for some ridiculous idea with G4? Well, probably not, but we probably will anyway. So I'm thinking like this, but this is maybe a tad outrageous, but okay. So I met Danny at the Isle of Man competition after a hard day's commentary with Michael Pennyworth, who was the producer there. I've known for a long time, another lovely guy. I think Fiona Steele and Tony, and maybe Anna Rudolph was there. And man, me and Danny cracked on with the whiskey. It was like, Danny, do you want a whiskey? Yeah, make it a treble, please, Simon. Not a problem, my friend. After a hard day's work, you got to have a hard night's, entertainment. So it was quite fun, seeing that there is a relaxed side to all the professionalism as well. So I always like that when you say, would you like a drink? And they're like, yeah, make it a treble. I mean, okay, I'm not saying that alcohol is always good. I mean, look at me. I'm having very sensible water today. Yes, I am feeling okay before anyone wonders. Now, I could go here. Well, I can't go here now. I mean, can I really go Rook G1? That's kind of thematic. I mean, if you're gonna go for Billy O off the G file, checkmate, woohoo, here we go, kind of random nonsense, then you've got to be at least consistent with your nonsense, right? That's probably the worst advice ever. Meaning, like, if you start with a crazy plan, you just got to follow it through no matter what. I think that's probably very bad advice. Very bad advice. Okay, so I think we're going to get this in now. So I'm quite happy to get rid of that bishop, because that is a defender. And again, let's just be consistent. Let's go here. And is this going to be dangerous for him? Now, I can castle queenside, thankfully. Otherwise, my king would become a target. But I'm relying on Harry to push through. But first of all, I think it makes sense to get rid of that bishop. And I will probably just consolidate a little bit on the queen side first. Now, this seems a very slow move, doesn't it? I mean, this is really not doing anything. And I would have thought h5 is quite dangerous for my opponent, using my best friend. Jess Fox says he gets this position all the time, and I never thought to put the rook there. Well, all cool, Jess. Glad to be of help to you, as always. Hope you're doing all right. Hope your music's going all right, Jess. Is it going all right, your music and everything? Not an easy life, I'd imagine. So I got this check, but then this one, I can win a pawn safely, but I'm kind of thinking like checkmate is more fun. So I'm going to go here and go for checkmate. Check, queen here, queen down, checkmate, boom. Okay, so let's just do it. Let's get the bishop there. It looks quite juicy. Now, here, 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 here. I think we can do it. I think this is playable. Famous last words. So I'm doing a little mini sacrifice of a piece, but if I've calculated this, which rook? Even this rook is maybe quite. Oh, which one? This is. I think I want this rook coming. Okay, I think this one. But then if he does come this way, I want the rook here. You see. So that's why. But I can at least start mopping up. Did we take here? Then king c6. Oh, just don't think. Don't think, Simon. Move. Okay. All right. Well, that's very kind of him. He resigned before I start mopping up all of the pawns. Look at that. Jobava, London. What an opening. Boom. It's nice to win a game, I have to say. You know, nice to start with a win. I very rarely start with a win. Anyway, let's catch up the chat. So Jess, I hope that helped give you some ideas. Music is going well. Had a new track come out a few days ago. Awesome. If you ever hear my introduction track to my stream, that was done very kindly by Jess Fox Official, which I play all the time. It's royalty free, so it's very very nice to have that. The Dutchman with the long name. Hi, Miss Simon. Can I go for a beer? You're the GM. Well, you know what my answer to that question is. Generally, the answer is, if you're old enough and you're responsible, then enjoy yourself, whatever that is, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. So yes, damn well do it, man. It's Saturday after all. Simon never wins the first game. I always lose the first game. So Jobava London, maybe we'll play some games in Jobava London. I haven't actually played the Jobava London opening for a while. I don't really know why. I went for a stage of playing it quite a lot, and I like mixing up a bit, but there's no real reason why I've stopped playing the Jobava London. Okay, so let's see if we can get our rating above 2600 at least. Why do you have to be responsible and old enough? Well, let's not go down that path, if it's okay. Right, okay, well, we saw the damage that the H-pawn did in the last game. Well, actually, or was it the Gary pawn? No, it's the H-pawn. The H-pawn won the game last time, so I'm going to try and do some nonsense with the H-pawn here as well. It feels like we can try. This might again backfire, but it feels like we can try the castle queen side and just start going mental over on the king side. He doesn't want to give up his bishop for my knight, which is kind of understandable, and he's got a little bit of pressure here, so I'm gonna have to move that knight away from the center. And now I don't really want his bishop or knight gaining access to these two squares. So even when I'm thinking of my own plans, I'm trying to stop my opponent doing what he wants to do. Now there might be some ideas with this kind of stuff going on. Going for the H2 square, trying to find a target and attacking it left, right and center. It could be interesting. I mean, it might well not work. I'm certainly not worried about him capturing there if I castle on this side of the board, but I can try this one. It's quite hard to get rid of this knight though. So knight here, here, here. This is okay. Let's try it. This is a super aggressive idea. Maybe the bishop can come here as well. Is this called the fishing pole? Who called it the fishing pole? Who called this idea the fishing pole? Oh, because it makes some sense, right? Okay, so he wants to move this one here. So maybe now bishop to d6, and we have a threat. Okay, so we can now take here. Can we use my h pawn? Knight takes. It's getting quite complicated. Knight takes there. What is that line? This is really mad. I don't know, but he might just be able to go bishop takes bishop and then h3. So I think I want to keep my pawn there. So let's. Okay, I've got to move quicker. Let's just take that one off. That looks like the most sensible option for now. And this one is probably my next move. I'm not sure if I'm going to castle queenside. It feels like this is the idea, but I want to again use. So he's gone this way. That's quite positionally bad for him to take away from the center, because if you see the center of the board, I now have more pawns in the center. So he may have guarded his king reasonably well, but even if after some exchanges, I go for an ending. The ending is going to be better for me because I have this lovely passed pawn, while my opponent doesn't have a passed pawn. So I could take the knight, keep the queens on. Should we do that? It's a bit more fun. Let's go for that. I think queen takes was the more... If I was playing in a competition, I'd probably keep it very safe. Well, I probably wouldn't actually. I'm a bit of a lunatic. Now, bishop b5 might have been an option there, but I did say I wanted to use Harry. And look at him go. Look at him go. Look at him go. He's having a good time here. Peter Merrifield, hello to Central London. Place I've been many times before. Oh, so Jerry from Chess Network, the OG of chess, called it the fishing pole. Well, respect to the Jerry. Respect to the Jerry. Jiri 432 is coming up with the gags today, isn't he? You should check. Okay, what is this? Okay, well I can now just take here, right? Let's do that. Why not? He was obviously scared about some nastiness happening, but this looks also quite scary for him. So I could play here first. I think I'm gonna do this first. The reason for this is I want to tempt his pawn forwards. Why do I want to do that? So he doesn't have that square for his knight, and it also just blocks his bishop in a little bit more. So I'm thinking having his pawn on c4. What is he doing? He clearly doesn't enjoy pieces, this guy. He doesn't enjoy pieces. With my knight here, I feel I'm very safe. This is such a strong piece in the center of the board. So this looks like it's just very good. The h-file no longer is of that much use, so we're going to use the extra rook. I'm happy. Oh, can we do that? Can we do this? Can we do this? This is my idea. And the point is, bishop takes, check, queen here, and then I take the queen off, and we get an ending where I'm the exchange up. 2 in a row. 2 in a row. Whoa. Whoa. Whew. That's nice. Nice to have 2 in a row. It makes a change. Wasn't knight f3 a move a couple of moves ago? So whereabouts? It seems like he's got that well defended. Maybe there was some tactic. I mean, when you're a lot of material up, you don't have to do anything too flash. And this knight was the winner, right? This knight was the winner. He captured away from the center, and he kind of needed the f pawn to attack that knight, which he didn't have. So so that was it. This is quite the start, Simon. Yeah, it makes a bit of a change, doesn't it, to win a couple of games? Lambos Chess, didn't realise you stream YouTube. I'm on YouTube. You should check out my YouTube channel if you like my streams. I sometimes put my streams up there, but there's quite a lot of unique stuff as well. So if you're interested in the way I present, which you may or may not be, but I do some more educational stuff there as well. Okay, now the aim is to get to 2600 this stream. Now I normally play the Dutch defense, but oh god, everyone plays the bloody London, don't they? Everyone loves the London. They love it. They just bang out the London. Boom, boom, boom. I used to play London all the time. I can't complain at all. I can't complain. Don't know why I'm saying that. I quite like the London. People moan about the London a lot, but I quite like it actually. It's not bad. It's not a bad opening at all. It's actually a very good opening. So what I'm going to do here, well, I want to have a pawn break because otherwise my position is quite passive. You can see he's got this pawn break. My one is e5. Now can I play this and do some... Well, do I keep the queen here or go queen e8? Queen e8 is like a normal way to play this position. It might look extremely weird, but the point is you support e5. Yeah, everyone plays the London. The London's a good opening. I like the London. It's a very lazy opening. Now, do I push on? Got to watch out for the c5 move. Or do we just try and guard that square a little bit more? And maybe I just get a rook somewhere in the center. Because I don't know. The thing with pawn structures, if you're unsure whether you should push the pawn or not, and pushing the pawn has the positive that I attack the knight and I get a strong pawn in the center, but it has the negative that my opponent's bishop, which is trapped in by my free pawns, it gets more range against d6. And I found this a lot of times in London. When you go there, your opponent plays c5 at some point. I really don't like that move for my opponent, because now his main break is c5. It's not very well defended. So this to me seems like a mistake. Slight mistake, but still a mistake, because how's he going to break with c5? So I'm now going to go back to a plan that you see in the King's Indian defense. It might look like I'm losing time, but whenever the pawn structure changes, you've got to reassess the situation. And he's played this move. And again, this move, if I can now even get some squares on the queen side, for example, by trying to take control of the c5 square, I might be able to take control of both areas of the board. And look at that square from my knight. So I may even be able to get an advantage on both sides of the board, because his pawn structures are now static, and I still have this square which I'm going to bring my other knight around to. The reason I moved my rook here, by the way, guys, is so that I could go knight e8 and then play f5 and start an attack on the king side. But some of those just positional decisions that my opponent has played here look very suspect. Now I can continue with queenside play, but I'm just gonna, I could even do some little maneuvering, but let's just try to checkmate. I don't know why I called the title of this stream Checkmate or Die, but I suppose we better live up to that, right? Now the bishop coming here is very tempting. Okay, let's get the bishop in. This square looks very nice. I might be able to get the queen in, and we're just going to try to go for his king in this position. So I'm going to bring my queen over. Am I worried about knight here attacking there? I don't think so. And you can see what he's done. What my opponent has done to his queen side means he doesn't have any pawn breaks. This is actually a very theoretic mistake that my opponent has done here. Now, doesn't mean I can't lose this position, but now my bishop's not very good, so I'm going to try to get it to sacrifice itself there at some point. So I hope you guys took note of that move, and this is what I was saying about pushing pawns. Pushing pawns can be extremely committal, and pushing that pawn was just wrong. He needed to try and push the other pawn, keep himself flexible. And what is my general idea? Well, my general idea, I think I want to open it up with pawn takes pawn at the right moment. And if I can get my queen, like for example to g3, I can try to get bishop takes h3 in. So I want to try to use that pawn that he's moved on the king side. Okay, so now that he can't take back with a knight, this move looks strong to me, and we can now go here. I want to avoid exchange of queens, because even then I'm okay, but knight takes e4 if he tries to exchange queens. And now we see the idea. Bishop takes h3 is my idea. It stops his knight coming in, and I could even have played it positionally on the queen side, because I'm playing on both areas of the board. But here, well, I've got even rook takes, looks extremely tempting, but this one is probably just very, very strong. Now, what do we take? Do we get greedy and take here first? Why not? And I'm just going to take every single pawn. Now, I think exchanging queens is the simplest, because I'm 3 pawns up. I'm probably going to try to get the other rook back round, because it looks like the king side is where it's happening. If I can, where do we put this one? I want to try and control this knight. The knight goes there, I win it, and if it goes there, it goes in a horrible pin. And this was the idea I was talking about bringing this rook back round, and that won the game. So I think it's a very important moment in the game, actually. Like, we had quite a normal middle game position, and the middle game position, and again, when you play any opening, guys, you've really got to understand what you're trying to do in the middle game. If you play the London system, you should know this position here, because if your opponent is a King's Indian defense player, you should be knowing what plan you're trying to play in this position. And the only plan, well, the main plan is c5. This is the move that white needs to play. This is the pawn break. So as soon as my opponent played d5, he's in a lot of trouble. I think, because you can see he can never really play c5 now. Now I played rook here because I've got an idea of going knight e8 and f5, and I've got a free hand attacking on the king side. He's got no counterplay. He can never play this move because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces defending that square. And the next mistake is probably this move, because after a5 he can no longer play pawn to a3. He would like to move that pawn back there to keep his pawns in check, but after he moves this pawn he loses another square on the queen side. So now I have an advantage on the queen side, and because of this pawn a potential attack in the center, and because of this pawn his bishop is killed. So it's actually a very nice move. Why queen e8 better than rook e8? Well, sometimes you want your rook here to help the f pawn, and also after e5, which is I don't know if it is better, but after, let's say I play e5, if the queen's on d8, imagine the queen is back here, sometimes white can put the knight on f6 into a pin, so this gets out of any potential pin. So it's just a little bit different, a little bit different way to play. Okay, let's see if we get over 2600 anyway. So we've now got a strong 20. I said I was going to keep with the Jobava London 2585, so we're going to do this. This is like the London system, but we call it the Jobava London because rather than putting a pawn on this square, we put a knight on this square. Now this move, I'm just going to play my normal free moves. You all start like this, and now e4 is the most aggressive move here because my opponent hasn't played d5. Now I've had this position before. I'm trying to remember how it went, and I think I played this one in the world's oldest competition, which is the Hastings Open in Hastings, England. And I think the first time this competition happened was in like 1895. So I had this position then, believe it or not. But my opponent has castle. So what do we do here? Do we play c3 and try to keep the center controlled? This pawn can become weak, you know, if he goes bishop g4, knight c6. This is his idea to attack my... I've got to move quickly. If I go here, this is very interesting, like e6. But I'm going to try this one. Not sure about this. You know, because now the bishop coming here. Okay, so because I can see his idea, I'm going to go h3, because allowing my knight to be exchanged would really mean my center might dissolve. So this one is actually trying to ensure I have the center. So so I think even endings are probably quite decent for me, because my king on e3 looks all right to me. King on e3 attacking this one, which is a weak pawn. So I'm going to try this. Is this completely mental, or I don't know? I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, what you actually doing there? Have you gone completely mad? And I've got to watch out for tricks. I'm kind of thinking, hang on a minute, this is either like a really good idea or it's far too risky. Is that safe? I think it's all right. I think it's all right. We've got to stick to our guns. Stick to our guns. Okay, so I have to get rid of that one. And now I'm going to try to mop him up. I don't really want to take my king because that bishop would come in. Rook on the 7th rank, and I think my plans work quite well. Now this actually even is quite annoying for him. We have a pawn to attack here, and we have nice centralization. This is a bit like a Grunfeld, and I think he's in a hell of a lot of trouble after rook here, because I'm threatening the bishop. If he takes my rook, I'm going to go here. And one of the great things about having this pawn here, if you can maintain it, it totally kills the guy on g7. The guy on g7 is completely killed. So he's trying to make some complications, but let's keep it as simple as we can by swapping off that dark square bishop. I might as well win another pawn. There's no reason why not. Now he can't go to h8, it would be mate, and this should be relatively simple. My king has been such a hero. We might even be able to make him even more of a hero here, right? He hasn't got a check, so I think this is safe. And he wants to come down here, but he's not really going anywhere. Let's try to queen a pawn. This check I'm covering, so it doesn't work. His rook can't really come anywhere. That takes too long. I'm only 2 squares away from queening in the position. So he's got to cover my pawn. And he doesn't really even have a move here. If he goes here, okay, he's trying to get out of the pin. But this is winning in a number of ways, probably. Do we now move the knight? And I don't really want to allow this check. So let's just go here, move the knight, and then use the hero king. So knight here, stopping his king coming to this square. I wanted to move my pawn first before the knight to stop this check. And now we're going to move the king in. Hero king. And this ending is pretty simple because my hero king has done the job. He can't take this one because of d8 winning. He's got, okay, he's got rook back here. So we might have to change plans to win this one. Let's just stop him. I've got so many extra pawns here. Now we can come here. I mean, even if I just take here, I'm just going to take here because I wanted to win by using the D pawn, but it's maybe not so simple. So let's just use all my other pawns here to do the job. Now I'd imagine his G pawn is so slow, and I've got a little guy here who seems to be pretty damn speedy in the position. Is he going for some dirty stalemates here? Let's just, I've got everything. Probably resigning is a very decent option here, but checkmate is okay. So yeah, I mean, it looked like that plan was quite good, and the problem my opponent had here in this position was as soon as my king comes up, he's got this real problem with his e-pawn, so he needs to play very actively. As soon as he gets into a passive position, we saw that I just picked this pawn up and I'm winning. So he needs to find some good activity. Now rook d8 looks natural, but I'm wondering if there's any better way of playing this for him. I was thinking maybe he should go here straight away and give the pawn up on d3, but I feel probably he's just a lot worse, and the main reason I feel he's worse is because the bishop on g7 is completely crap. It's blocked in by the pawn on e5, so it's really just a very bad piece. My bishop's okay. You could say my f4 bishop's bad, but it does a good job of defending. And if I can pick this pawn up very simply, I'm going to be doing well. So let's play someone else. See how we get on. So yeah, I mean, if we ever do a stream where we win every game, would that be a first? That'd probably be a first. Oh, we got a real challenge here. We got, okay, I'm going to go to the Dutch. We got cat. Oh no, we're not. We go hippo. We got cat in love 2665. So if I win this one, we could be getting close to 2600. Now, the way he's played this is a little bit worrying for me, I have to say, because he's played the one setup which scares me a bit. So I'm trying to think of ways to complicate this position. Some old English grandmasters used to play like this, like Tony Miles, Mike Basman, and this looks like one way I can at least keep the position quite interesting. And let's keep the pressure against e4, so I'm now threatening to take that one, and I'm assumed that this square is the best square for my pieces. Now I don't think I'm worried about that at the moment. I'm going to play f5, and the reason for this is I don't want to castle and allow his fishing pole. Am I concerned about this? Maybe, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I mean, if he does go for this, I can castle in time. So I'm just trying to block out his queen with this move because my king seems to be fairly sensible. And one of the good advantages about my position is I've got a beautiful square on d5. Hello to anyone, by the way, hello to anyone else who's joined in the stream. Look at that lovely square. I have to take here, otherwise he's going to win a piece. And not just this square, but look at this bishop. This bishop looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous to me. That's a pre-move and a half. Look how strong. So I'm very happy with this position. Very happy. Okay, we're castle as well. Now, I think we just aim to play this sensible. How's he going to get rid of this bishop? He can try attacking it, but that takes a long time. And I feel we can play, okay, his knight's going to come in here. That is what he could try to do. And I'm going to play very aggressively g5. Because my bishop, where is it pointing? It's pointing at g2. So I'm basically arguing that I need to try and attack g2 and more pieces to create threats. So maybe I can get a rook there, maybe I can get a queen here. If he goes queen g3, and that's the one move I'm wondering about. I don't really want to close it down with g4. Maybe I have to play h6 there. But then this move, okay, so this I'm a little bit happier about because now he can't really move his knight, so he's going for the ending. Okay. And this, I could even take this knight, but I do love my bishop. Let's go here. Very strange position. What piece is stronger, the bishop or the knight? Now I did this just so his knight can't get out. Because even though I'm thinking his knight looks fantastic, where is his knight actually going? But saying that, do we now play here? He's got this one. My rook. It's my rook, which is my one problem piece. And his king is coming in on dark squares. Now, I need to get my rook to g4. This seems like a very slow plan. Let's try it. So my bishop is great, and I need to now. Oh, I've allowed this. I shouldn't have allowed that. Should not have allowed that. Let's hope he doesn't see it. He's bloody seen it. Typical mistake. Hope your opponent doesn't see your plan. Don't ever try that at home, guys. So I'm a little bit worried here. I have to play very carefully now, or I get mated. But positionally speaking, I'm still. His knight is so strong, and this is really annoying. How do I stop this? We can't. Well, this is looking bad. This could be the first loss because g6 is coming, and I'm basically in zugzwang. I'm completely lost here. Completely lost. Nice game from my opponent. Not very well played from me in a position where I'm doing very well, but I allowed this knight to come in, and it actually ended up that his knight is, funnily enough, stronger than my rook. So I'm trying to find ways to survive, but this is gone. Knight here wins, that wins, and nice game. It was too good to be true. Who jinxed it? Who jinxed it in the chat? Obviously it's nothing to do with my play. Someone jinxed it. We can't do a stream where we win every game. So I should have. So the one thing there was he had the more active rook, and he's playing the Jobava London against me. I should be absolutely fine somewhere in that game, like probably a little bit better, but it's not clear where. So he had a very nice plan. His rook, when he got his knight to that square, it was really all over for me because that knight was too strong. I thought I had some chance against his pawns, but I didn't. I didn't have any chances. So that was the thing. So it's always good to think about where you've gone wrong. Now I would analyse that game more, but often when I lose, I don't know about you guys, you should analyse after you lose a game, but you're like, I just want to play another one because I'm so annoyed with the way I played that last game, and I'm annoyed I lost. Let's get in with another one. So it should have been okay, but well played. My opponent played a good game there. All right, well, we're back in with another one. We've got another Dutch defence, pretty solid position. He's trying maybe to play this move, but one thing I've learned about this is if you take it and go e5, it works out actually pretty well for black. So e4 has to be timed well. Okay, so he's gone for another plan. Now, do we try something with trying to get this move in at all? I don't really want to play that one because, again, I'm committing my pawns, and I'm just thinking about my pawns, and I like this pawn guarding e5. The break I think I really want to play here is e5 because I've got ideas after that. I've got ideas of going e4. I've got ideas of capturing and opening up the e file. If I play d5, I think it was like that, if you remember that pawn break that my opponent played in another game, it might just weaken my position. So I'm going for e5 now. I played g6 to defend this one, so maybe I should have even done it straight away. But now we're going to get this idea which I mentioned before, where yeah, he gets e4 in, and shit, I've allowed this one. I did not see this move. So can we play here? No, because pawn takes is winning. When it rains it pours. And I've also opened up my dart square, so this is not good. So I'm gonna try to unbalance it here, because a good little rule, things go wrong for everyone, and if things start to go wrong in your position, that's when you should look for more desperate sacrifices, ways to complicate the situation. So at least this way, yeah, I could have defended passively by moving my rook, but then he just has total control of the position. His bishop can come in and pin that knight. So I've moved that knight with ideas of, yeah, I'm gonna lose points here, but I'm at least making the position more complex. And it's a really good thing to do, because what you want to do in anything, maybe even in life, someone should bring out, hello Hairy Chess, good to see you. Someone should do something on this, like some kind of self-help book, what I've learned from chess. I can't redo it because, I'm still learning life. And it should be like, in life, if your tempo in life is going a little bit funny, if it's not going the way you want to, that is when you need to change things, mix things up, right? Or am I just talking absolute crap? Probably. Okay, what's going on here? So we mixed it up, but now I'm thinking, what next? Does this help me getting this knight in? Does it help me to play this? This one is annoying, isn't it? Do I swap the rooks? Let's swap a rook off. I'm only doing that because I don't want my rook to get attacked in some lines. And now we want to use the knight, do we? Luckily he doesn't. Okay, so at least it's a bit complicated, right? At least it's a bit complicated. So you get free chess lessons here, but you also get your life lessons. I wouldn't take any life lessons off me. Definitely not a good idea. Okay, so it's complicated, this position. My knights are kind of like all right, and he's now going passive. We like that when an opponent starts going backwards in life. Now he's going to try and take this one off. I can't take there. Do we do some consolidation? I like this. I don't know why I like that. That's like, why do I like that move? Because it's really peculiar, and I'm just giving my pieces a little bit more protection. And of course we've got to use Harry. Maybe some ideas of this. My pawn structure now. This is what I was hoping to achieve, because I can't allow that bishop. And now we get some ending, which I feel is absolutely okay. Now do the support. Okay, I've got to move. Okay, I was thinking, do I give that pawn? And the problem is this one. So I've got knight d5 as my big move, and obviously the time advantage probably means I'm going to win on time. So this one is the problem he has. But I don't know. This is like c4, knight c3, rook takes here, check, king f2, and he attacks my knight on e2 and my bishop on b7. So I think in this position, if he plays c4, he's probably doing quite well, because his rook comes diving into the position straight away. Can you see this line? Obviously, another thing in chess is if you can improve your visualization, the way you can see ahead without moving the pieces. This is like one of the biggest skills you can get. So he goes c4, knight c3. I'm worried about rook takes b6. I can take on e2 with check, but his king comes to f2. Can you picture that position? His king attacks my knight, his rook attacks my bishop. Could I play d5? I could have played d5, but I think the way I played it, Thunder Fuzz, was a lot better. Because often, the way a lot of strong players play... Did I just call myself strong? Well, someone has to. No one else will. They kind of wait for their opponent to do something, and because it seems to me I've got really good control, and I want him to do something with his bishop where I take it. Now I don't know, I could have played it better at some point, obviously, but the problem with going d5, which looks natural, is it does block my bishop in. And what am I actually doing with that pawn? What is the point of that move? I'm defending my knight on c4, on the e4, but I'm defending that knight anyway. That knight is defended, so that's why I didn't play d5. I wanted to keep my bishop. More flexible. Okay, we'll stick with the Jobava London. Who are you rooting for in the World Cup? That's a good question, Yash. Who am I rooting for? Svidler, probably. I think out of... Oh, no, that was a mouse slip, but we'll claim it's a gambit. This is the mouse slip gambit. That was a mouse slip, but it's really a gambit. It's like the Smith-Morra gambit. The reason I'm saying Svidler is because he's just really nice, which is a good enough reason, I think. He's been very nice to me on many occasions, and he's just a lovely guy. He's very humble, he's very strong, and I like his streams. I like him as a person, and seems like good enough reason, right? Do you need any more reasons? I think that's pretty good reasons, yeah. So the mouse slip variation, I've seemed to have got loads of compensation. If I can open up his king, he's got no development. So I'm thinking of like some moves like this. Now g4 looks very interesting. Now the problem with h4 is that he would have played g4 himself and closed it down, and I want to avoid the closing of the position. And I want to try and now get the queen in here. But now the other option is I can play h4. And why is this good? Because he can't play g4 anymore, because I've first done it this way around by placing my pawn on this square. So he's trying to guard against this. And I'm going to remove one of his only defenders with the idea of my queen coming in. Well, I wasn't sure about queen d3. No, it doesn't win. It actually allows bishop takes e5 and queen takes d3 to answer your question, where black is probably better because we don't want to exchange queens. So here I've got two very tempting moves, right? I can go pawn takes or check. Now check, queen here, king here, check, king takes. Maybe he's holding on there. Maybe. I still like my position. Pawn takes, queen e8 is best, I think. Okay, I'm going to do this one because if I go pawn takes, I've got no chance to get my bishop on this diagonal. But by playing queen takes, I get my pawn back, and at some point I'm hoping I can play d5 and my bishop can get in. But if there's a pawn on this square, my bishop will never be able to get past the pawn. So I've kind of got this move as a backup. And what I mean by backup, I get my pawn back. But the move I really want to play is this one. But now it must be a good time to capture here. Why is it a good time to capture here? Because I think putting his king on this square makes his position worse. But what next? I feel if we go d5, he has e5. So the rook wants to remain flexible coming over this way. If he moves his knight, my queen can come over. And where's my bishop best placed? Maybe here, because it supports a rook coming into h7. And the real problem that black has in this position is that he can't really move anything. He can't move, well, he can move his rook, but what does it do? He can't move his bishop. I take the knight. He can't move his knight because I check, so he can't move much. And now we see why my bishop is good here, because I have this idea. This should be just winning this one. I can even, after queen takes, flick in a check to be incredibly accurate. Knight f8 takes check, king takes, queen takes here, but this is just winning. Okay, so he's still find a way to defend, but just got to I mean, this should be a win. I mean, this one's very strong. If I go here, here, and then rook takes d7, that's good. So I'm going here, and if rook here, his knight is the only piece defending the rook, so I go rook takes d7, removing the defender of that piece, bishop takes check. Now, I'm not actually maybe threatening to take this one, but he can't move. What can he actually move here? You can maybe go knight f8, but it looks pretty miserable, right? Taking the pawn was made. Okay, so he's trying to find some escape here. Now, this check, am I worried? Nah. So we can now, rather than taking, okay, I've got to move quickly. I'll just shut up for a little bit because I'm very slow. I'm just going to go a piece up. I just had to make sure this check wasn't scary, and it's not scary because we're just simply a piece up. So let's not lose on time. Let's get a pass pawn. I'm very slow though. If you see my streams, you will know my nickname is Slowy McSlowy. That's not actually my nickname. Yeah, he's going to try to win a pawn, but it's quite slow. You call me Slowy McSlow. Look how slow you are. That is a queen, my friend. Oh, I mean, if I lose some time here, I mean, it's a bit embarrassing, right? Now, if you could get rid of every single piece, it'd be stalemate, but it's not very easy for him to do that. And he fights on until the bitter end. Fights on until the bitter end. Thanks, eye candy. Yeah, so I do, you know, if you do want to check some other things out that I've done, I've made a new website which has taken a couple of years to make, and with some programmers, and it's this one. This one, I think we're trying to make it like a really cool way for you guys to improve from playing blitz and other things. So it'd be great if you want to support me. Go and check out G-Chess and have a look at it. And if you really like it, you can subscribe per monthly to get the main things. Oh, my opponent there, he didn't like it. He looked at the score, he thought, no, I'm not playing that Williams. We're not giving him a go. But also, another thing you can do is you can check out my YouTube channel. Just search GingerGM. That's kind of what I'm known as, GingerGM. So the Jobava London, by the way, is doing great today, right? Just search that on YouTube. That's another thing you can do. And like and subscribe to my channels, all that nonsense would be very handy. Okay, so we're nearly 2600. We're 6 points away. If you want to learn more about this opening, I've done a free video on YouTube, so you can watch it free, or I've done a Chessable course which has videos, or there's a lot of stuff there. I've covered this in a GingerGM video, which is not as detailed as the Chessable one, but it's only £20. So which is a bargain. It's a bargain. That's a bargain, isn't it? £20 to play like this. There's my little sales pictures. It's quite a fun opening. I mean, like, you know, the basically it's equal. The Jobava London is an equal opening. Don't get me wrong. It's not like an advantage for white, but it's more equal for white than it is for black, if you know what I mean, right? I'm sure that's from Animal Farm. Is that from Animal Farm? You know, that book about communism and how some of the leaders are more equal than other leaders. Is that right? Or am I just talking? I'm very good at talking nonsense. I'm sure I've had this discussion before. So it is from Animal Farm. Good. I'm not completely mental. Just a little bit. Yeah, there's a free thing on Chessable as well. You go to short and sweet. So the great thing about Chessable, you get an hour free on a lot of stuff. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, am I? I'm playing moves, but I'm not really thinking, which is not how you're supposed to play chess. I think you're supposed to think. Is that right? And I put my queen over here, but I'm like, okay, why do I put the queen over there? What was it actually doing? So we're going to have to reroute. Hello, Stell, and anyone else who's just joined him. And I'm going here because my queen over there wasn't actually doing a great deal. And if the knight comes here, maybe I've got some e4 to do so. Now, I'd quite like to get an ending here, actually. So I'm going to see if I can get an ending. The reason I want to get an ending is because my rook is more active, and we've seen how important the active rook is. And I couldn't really do this before because my opponent could run away. Okay. Well, we're not going for a draw, so I'm going to take this square away for the knight. And if I get a chance, this knight will try to come in. Weird position, right? Look at the knights. Weird position. Look at the knight. They're like, oh, I've got to put the knight there. I've got to put it there, even if it's bad. You just got. I mean, what? I want to put a rook and queen there. Oh, sorry. I'm really enjoying. I mean, I'm enjoying this position a little bit too much, right? Now I could move my queen back here. I mean, what the hell is this? I'm enjoying this is a great position, but it's probably not the best move. Okay, how can I get my what strange position? What is this? I'm confused. I'm confused. Okay, we'll go back here. We'll keep the knights there. It's just I just love the knights. They just look so cool, don't they? Those knights look so much fun. So I wanted to play queen here with the idea of some check, but I couldn't find a good follow-up after my opponent tucks his king in the corner, avoiding my threat. So I'm putting the queen here just because I see a target, and the target is f7. Thank you for the nice comments, everyone. Is it Appel Plucker? Thank you very much. And now I'd have to put the knight back here because it kind of looks right, but maybe. Oh god, what is happening? I'm getting a headache with this one. Here, knights are so tricky. Knights are so tricky. It's so easy to lose something when you're doing knights, right? So you've always got to look. You've always got to watch out for some horrible knight fork. You know, at some point the knight comes and it forks you, and you're like, what happened? So like this would be a knight fork if I can get that knight to move. So I don't want to give away the pawn because that pawn. So I'm keeping my structure intact here. And my idea is to attack this knight because my main idea is to go knight here. What's happening? Where's that going? It's going here. Bloody tricky. Right, I'm going to defend that one. Ah, so complicated, this position. And what here? And where am I going? Those knights are really confusing me. So I want this move. Boom! There you go. We got the nightmare in. The nightmare has landed. Oh, we're nearly 2600 as well. Can we crack it in the next game? That was quite. I enjoyed that game. Obviously, it's nice to win, but I enjoyed it because what was going on with those knights? The knights were all over the shop. So they were having the time of their lives there. Okay, so we need one win here against Mark Twain 64. Thank you, Chess Chef, for the cheer. And we're going to go. Let's go for a Sicilian, shall we? We tried this earlier on. And we'll go open Sicilian. And I like the dragon. I've always played the dragon. Now I'm going to play this very risky move, which is the Dragadorf. It's a mix between the dragon and the Najdorf. If you want to know more about this, I actually just recently had a long play game in this position against Chessable. One of the people who works at Chessable, Micah. Now I think this is probably a mistake because putting the king over here, you've got to watch out for certain lines and files, and I'm not sure how my opponent is just going to stop me playing e5, winning a piece. There might be some. Is there some kind of tactics here against my king? Maybe. I don't think so. I think I'm quite well defended. So I think my opponents play very quickly, but maybe not the right way. Do I think the dragon is too much theory for 1500 players? Very interesting question from NASCAR, or NASCAR, sorry. And my general feeling is Let me just think here. Here. Do we want to allow that? No, we just want to take that one. Let me just think before I answer any questions. Here is really weird. Here, check, king moves, takes, and my opponent has a draw. So maybe we just come over here to stop this idea in some cases. Okay, I'm going to try to bring the... Oh God, I didn't even see my knight was defender. I think, it's not really about the opening if it has too much theory. The most important thing to bear in mind when you're playing any opening is how much time do you have as a person. When you're a kid, when you're a young kid, you generally have a lot of time, right, to do work on chess, because you don't have a family, you don't have other things going on. You've got to work out how much time you have a week. If you only have like 1 hour a week to study chess, then the dragon is not a good opening to learn, because it requires, and I was worried about this move, it requires, I don't know what I'm doing after rook takes here. Oh no, the one game to get me to the bloody rating as well. All I was saying is it requires a lot of concentration, which unfortunately I'm not doing at the moment. And now I'm in trouble. Am I in trouble? Because my queen is so bad. That was a nasty little tactic from nowhere, right? Shouldn't have. This one is really bad as well. So I don't know. It's actually really bad, because it's not just I lose the rook, I lose this one as well. So I might have to try and give up my queen. But I've still got this problem here. Okay, well, let's see. I don't know. I mean, what's the piece count? I think am I still material up somehow? Wow. Oh God, this is so complicated though. So easy to go wrong in a position as complicated as this, and my time is down. So let's see. I'm going to concentrate now, and I blunder like that. Great bit of concentration. Might not be too bad. It is bloody bad because I just dropped a piece, but it's not the end yet, because my e pawn is really strong. Sacrifice. It was a sacrifice. Honest governor. It wasn't a blunder. It was a sacrifice. Okay. And now how does my opponent stop all these ideas? It's not really my problem, right? Sacrifice for the initiative. Grandmasters don't blunder. They do all the time. So now this one is a problem, right? Wow. Let's not lose some time, and we might get to the 2600. Famous, but it's still a little bit of work to do here, especially with time. Especially with the time. Now this should be winning, of course, this ending. And my opponent realised that. Let's just consolidate the pieces, use the king. Would be the normal way to try and win. Bring the king in. But don't take... Did I just take that much time on a move? Crazy. Now this is very nice to me, and I'm making good progress with my king. I allowed a check there, I shouldn't have done that one. I need to get the bishop in, and then the king comes in, and then I'm slowly trying to force this one back. Let's cover that one. Don't want that one queening, and I've got ideas of checkmate like this. This one is 2 seconds. Ah. Okay. Ah. Well, did I blow that game? Just on time, right? I'm not the quickest of players. I mean, clearly it was very easily winning. Or did you mean my opponent? I don't know if my opponent was doing. Okay, so we still. I mean, you know, when you do a stream or anything, you have a little idea in mind. But I didn't lose the game, so it's all right. You know, look at the positives. And the idea is to get to. We want to get to 2600. So let's keep going a little. Let's keep going and see if we're going to get there. Now, the variation I'm playing here is this is one of my most fun lines in chess. The point is, if he takes, you can go check here, and this is a real funky gambit line, which I think England's first ever Grandmaster, Tony Miles, was the first person to play before computers. So you give up a lot of pawns, but the point is, you have this idea, and now I'm only one pawn down of going check, and my opponent. It takes a while for my opponent to castle his king, because look, he's got to get the bishops out, the knight is in the way, I've got always a check, I'm castling in one move. I'm feeling now that I'm going to develop my last piece, not just to attack there, but this one is my other idea, and the point being that he can't take, and this one, oh, we're liking this, he's got a check over here, but I'm not worried about that, because I've got bishop c6. Look at this. This is beautiful. Queen takes here, knight d3. Oh! Those knights. Look at those knights rolling. So queen takes here. There's two ways to win a queen. Knight d3 is one, and the other one is knight c2 to win the queen. So we're 2600. Wah, wah. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with a 2600, right? 2600 is a nice solid amount to go for. So that was cool. I enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching. If you like what I do, then please follow this channel, subscribe if you're very generous, check out all my other stuff. This really does mean a lot. I mean, you know, I love doing free shows if people can support it. We're going to do a little raid now, and I'll be back. I'm trying to do a little stream most days, so if you follow this channel, you'll better know when I'm doing that. Check out my YouTube channel. But we're going to raid Chess 24, and you're going to actually see a previous Blitz world champion, Liam Lequan, and he is a different level to me, above. So please just watch him for a little bit, say hello to the chat, and if you want more, check out my YouTube channel. That's what it's for. Have a good Saturday, everyone. Bye for now. Bye.